After he struck again in 2019, Travis Touchdown is officially back with a new mainline adventure, No More Heroes 3. It's been a long wait for this third entry, 11 years to be exact, so naturally, expectations for this game are sky high. So with that in mind, did Suda51 and his team at Grasshopper Manufacture do enough to fulfill these expectations, or did they create a dud of intergalactic proportions? The story revolves once again around passing assassin Travis Touchdown, as he joins the galactic superhero rankings, where he must fight his way to the top spot by defeating 10 superheroes. This is quite a big jump from the previous games, but it's fittingly absurd and only logical for the No More Heroes universe. However, if you didn't play the previous games, including Travis Strikes Again, you're going to be confused when you start playing. Although, even if you did play the entire series, you still might get confused because there's hardly any explanation for events that might have occurred between games. Then again, chances are you're used to this kind of chaotic storytelling from Suda51, where things just happen with little rhyme or reason. Characters magically come back to life, Travis has a flying mech suit, and his cat can talk now.
Come on, man. Don't underestimate my prowess in battle. I'm right up there with
Seriously, it's a wild ride. And it sticks the landing thanks to the commitment of the animators, designers, and voice actors.
Damn! Snap, crackle, and goddamn!
No More Heroes 3 is off the wall bonkers, and it does not apologize for it. Though I didn't find myself laughing out loud too much at the absurd humor, there were a few standout jokes that left me howling, especially at the end, which is the most hilarious part. The story is well told as a whole, and every voice actor does a great job at bringing their characters to life. Plus, the art style is a great advancement of the one introduced back on Wii, with the aesthetic of a gritty comic book and a bright, colorful anime.
Let me pick you up, little guy.
Oof.
In order to make his way to the top of the rankings, Travis will engage in a series of combat trials that put him and his beam katana to the test. The combat in No More Heroes 3 is a healthy combination of the 3 previous games. Yes, I said 3. It has the fast pace of the first game, the weighted impact of the second, and the button layout of Travis Strikes Again. Much like that game, you can jump during combat, and instead of choosing between high and low attacks like in 1 and 2, you press X and Y for heavy and light attacks respectively. I prefer this method as it allows for creative and effective combos. Travis's new level of agility is appreciated, and it helps in fights against the superheroes and space aliens. Whereas previous games had human enemies, No More Heroes 3 includes a variety of alien creatures, ranging from humanoids, reptilians, robots, and whatever these things are. Each foe has a unique ability, and they can significantly change the layout of the battlefield. One alien in particular places energy orbs around the fighting ring that'll cause damage if touched, which makes a tough battle even tougher if you're already fighting 3 other enemies at once. The game tends to throw together different combinations of alien types that make each fight feel distinct, and it works. The combat in No More Heroes 3 never felt repetitive, and it's actually the most fun I've had in the entire series, and I just replayed them all. You can feel the impact of every hit Travis lands, with attacks that have real weight to them without slowing down the pace. It's the closest developers at Grasshopper have gotten to replicating Platinum games, and I mean that in the best way possible. Even the frame rate is mostly great during these battles, targeting 60 frames per second. I say targeting because some of the combat sections seem to drop to 30 FPS. Thankfully, it's a generally stable frame rate even when lower, and never got in the way of my enjoyment. There are 2 ways to play No More Heroes 3, with the Joy-Con motion controls and the standard button controls in handheld mode or the Pro controller. I played with both of these methods, and they're honestly not that much different from each other. With the Joy-Cons, you still press X and Y to attack enemies, only using the motion controls to deal killer slashes, perform wrestling moves, unclog toilets, recharge your beam katana, and do one special attack. When using button controls, these are simply mapped to the right stick, so you won't miss much if you decide to play with button controls, unless you really like recharging the beam katana. Otherwise, I prefer to the buttons. Killer slashes activate the slash reel, which gives Travis certain powers, like temporary invincibility, supersonic attacks, and a full armor mode that fires devastating missiles. These don't activate often enough that they feel overpowered, instead acting as nice little supplements in case you need some help. However, the best pick-me-ups during combat are the Sushi, which act as consumables that heal you, refill your battery, among other things. If there's one addition to No More Heroes that I'm grateful for, it's the Sushi. I can't tell you how many times I wish I could have healed myself while playing No More Heroes 1 and 2, so the Sushi is handy to stock up on before entering a tough boss battle. Even then, I still died quite a bit, and luckily, the game still helps you with a retry roulette. If you land on the right spot, you might get something good, like a slight increase in attack power, or something bad, like a dead beam katana upon revival, or even nothing at all. These changes make No More Heroes 3 an easier game than its predecessors, at least on the normal difficulty, but they also make the experience less frustrating for the difficult boss battles. And you can't have a No More Heroes game without those. This game brings with it some colorful bosses with their own special quirks, and in typical Suda51 fashion, some of these characters throw curveballs in the player's way. You might think you're about to engage in a traditional boss battle until it turns out to be a game of musical chairs. I'm not kidding, and it's fantastic. There are other little twists and gameplay changes like this throughout that I won't spoil, but every one I encountered was a delight. Given that these bosses are superheroes, they're obviously different from the assassins Travis fought in the earlier games. Some of them are quite a bit larger than normal humans too. That said, they're still designed like No More Heroes boss fights, with multiple phases, environments that are controlled by the bosses themselves, and of course, their wild personalities.
Hey, what a shitty town! What could possibly even be here?
This, combined with the greatest combat in the series, makes them the best bosses in the series that were a blast to fight. What separates these bosses most from the previous games, though, is how you get to them. Instead of going through a level with enemies, you have to explore the open world for designated matches. When you complete 3 of them and pay the fee, you'll be whisked straight to the boss battle. Some may be disappointed that there aren't actual levels leading up to these fights, but honestly, I never found the boss levels in the first 2 No More Heroes games to be that great or memorable. They were just houses for enemies to beat up until you got to the boss at the end. In 3, there are still enemies leading up to a boss, they just don't have dedicated levels, and I'm perfectly okay with it. Even though combat is the most important staple of No More Heroes, 3 brings back the open world absent in the second game. Only this time, it's way bigger with much more to do. It's not seamless though, as it's split into 5 different sections you'll unlock over time. While this map is undoubtedly more impressive than the one in the first game, it takes a hit on the frame rate, causing it to look choppier than the combat sections. But thankfully, it isn't too distracting. And this is before the Day 1 patch. It isn't exactly a technical showpiece otherwise either, with low resolution textures and a short draw distance. This really impacts the art direction of the world, which is colorfully stylized, but doesn't have any character, with only a few NPCs that all look the same. There are also some annoying elements about this world that affect the gameplay, like how it's all too easy to crash the bike. Even when not driving very fast, it seems to trip over the smallest piece of rubble. There are also invisible walls placed in questionable locations that get in the way. These can be chalked down to minor annoyances at worst, but they're still annoyances that don't need to be there. In spite of the world's unimpressive visuals and irritations, there are fortunately plenty of fun tasks to complete, like the volunteer missions. These earn you Utopia coins, allowing you to buy items like sushi and access superhero ranking battles. They're similar to the part-time jobs in the first 2 games, only way better. No longer do you perform mundane tasks like wash graffiti or pick up trash. Now you pick up trash while also suplexing alligators.
All right.
Sure, the lawn mowing job is still slow, but you also get to chase cars, mine ores, and shoot giant alligators with a tank. You know, typical high school or college jobs. I found them to be great fun, as they felt more like games than the part-time jobs that felt like actual jobs in No More Heroes 1 or the 8-bit style games from No More Heroes 2. Now they can still get repetitive if you decide to play a bunch of them in one sitting, but they're meant to act as breathers between combat sections, and they're way more fun in small bursts. That said, if combat is what you enjoy most, there are defense missions where you take on waves of enemies and occasionally pilot your mech to fight a giant space alien. These battles will also earn you currency if you prefer to play that way. So there are a good variety of missions to tackle in the open world of No More Heroes 3. There are some collectibles to find, like scorpions, lost kittens, and collectible cards, along with seeds you can plant that will grow into trees you can climb to acquire currency. You'll also have to search for these items by yourself with no help from the map until you acquire a certain item that'll help you find them more easily. The more intriguing tasks are the side missions called adventures. They're presented as visual novels where Travis meets peculiar characters that give him tasks, like delivering something or completing an action like mining ores. These aren't the most compelling side quests, as the tasks they provide are simple, but a few of them offer interesting prizes, like a room where you can win figurines. So in short, the open world itself isn't that interesting, but the tasks it offers in the form of volunteer and defense missions are, and they're a way to earn some sweet cash. Strangely enough, you don't buy clothing or upgraded beam katanas with your money. Instead, you get t-shirts from the t-shirt alien, who rewards you with shirts after completing certain achievements, like killing 50 enemies or performing 25 perfect dodges. You'll also unlock t-shirts and special outfits as you beat bosses, so you'll still have a lot to choose from in Travis's wardrobe. Although you're unable to change his jacket, glasses, pants, or shoes unless you pick a completely different outfit. It is disappointing that you can't buy a new beam katana or attachments though. However, this has been replaced with a currency called World's Ending Supernova, or WESN, that you use in Travis's lab. Spending these points increases your health, attack power, battery power, decreases Death Glove skill cooldowns, and offers a few new abilities, like a charge attack and additional dodge roll. This upgrade system makes completing the game's tasks feel much more rewarding. Travis's lab also includes a time machine to replay boss battles, a sushi shop to buy consumables, and a station to modify your Death Glove chips. The Death Glove is a device introduced in Travis Strikes Again, and it allows Travis to unleash 4 kinds of powers in battle: a devastating kick, slow motion, telekinesis to throw enemies, and a placeable turret. These abilities helped me in a pinch, but they're well balanced and didn't make me feel overpowered. You can also install chips to the Death Glove that modify the playing experience. Some increase your light attack strength while decreasing your heavy attack strength, but others can increase your wrestling attack power, perfect dodge slowdown time, and even help you find items in the game world. Aside from the last one, I rarely found these Death Glove chips useful, as they barely impacted the gameplay experience. That, and the menus to craft these chips are cumbersome and do a poor job at organizing the chips. I mostly ignored this part of the game and instead went back out of the lab to engage in battles against homicidal space aliens. After finishing in around 14 hours, there's a lot to like about No More Heroes 3, with engaging combat that combines the best elements from all 3 of its predecessors, and a story that is a lot of fun, even if it throws logic out the window. While I do wish the open world was more polished and interesting, it at least offers some fun volunteer and defense missions on the side. So while No More Heroes 3 isn't perfect, it delivers an absolutely fun time thanks to its well-designed combat and off-the-wall storytelling, and I liked it a lot. I can't wait to see where Travis Touchdown's journey takes him next, even if we may not see it for another 10 years or so. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this review here on GameXplain. Be sure to subscribe for more reviews like this one, and check out the videos on the right for more topics you might be interested in. Until next time, bye.